Well, I've arrived in the Czech Republic. We've left Prague this morning. Mr. Jiří Jirovec picked us up in his lovely Ferrari and drove us down the motorway. And we've arrived at his premises. You know, I have to say that we've got a great opportunity to be able to show you what probably is one of the most special car collections and rally car collections we've ever seen. Bit of a sneak preview there, but let's go inside and take a look at some really special cars. This is the start of it. I mean, it's quite apt that right by the doorway we've got a pair of Toyotas, which is fabulous. But I really just do not know where to start with everything. I suppose the obvious place is with the Toyota 165, which was the start of the big era for Toyota in the World Rally Championship. This was a winning car. This particular one was Mikael Eriksson, one of my old drivers actually. My first driver in Toyota back in the day. But then there's the 205, which for a lot of people is the best car. And I have to say that it does look sleek and slender in comparison to the 185, which a lot of people felt was a bit of an ugly duckling. But the 205, quite literally, was never as good. A lot of technology and everything that went into it, but of course, somebody's decision to make a really fancy turbo restrictor did cause Toyota a lot of problems back in the day. The Group A Subaru Impreza back in the day, this did cause us a lot of problems, not only with this particular one is a Carlos Sainz car, but Colin in one of these was definitely a force to be reckoned with. Not that I spent much time rallying against the legacy, but again, when this came out, this was the turning point for Subaru. And ProDrive certainly did get this car performing really well and started to put them on the map. Next, we have Petter Solberg's Subaru. At the end of the day, Petter was, tremendously successful at this time with this car, of course. Jiří had to have a Sebastian Loeb Citroen. This particular car, Sebastian used to great effect, winning so many world championships. Really was a brilliant team, a brilliant driver with a very strong and very fast car. This is something you don't see very often. Never really a force to be reckoned with in the World Rally Championship. At the time, it was Hyundai's first step into the WRC. I have to say I like the colours, of course, being Castrol as well. From this became bigger and better things with the team that we know today. Seat were great supporters of the championship, starting in Formula 2, moving up into WRC. Seat were a great addition to, at that time, a plethora of manufacturers in the championship. Next to it is really a car that I only did a couple of events with, but the Fabia really was a car that was very much understated, and it was something that offered such a lot of potential. It was a great package when you look at the size of the car, small, compact. The performance was great, and when we started with it on Rally GB, we did a 4-day test, and in the end it was really starting to go places, but it was underdeveloped. A very fancy up change, down change sort of mechanism on the steering wheel. That was really something quite different, but it was a great little car, I have to say. I'm glad I was able to sit in this with Colin, because he really did make it sing, and was on the verge of a wonderful result, and the best ever result for Skoda in the WRC, with a second place in Australia. And of course we had the dreaded clutch change failure issue, which unfortunately dragged us down into retirement on the last day. It was criminal. Marcus will be interested in this one, the 206. At one time there was a possibility that Colin was going to go to Peugeot, but in the end decided to go to Ford when he was leaving Subaru, because at the end of the day, Subaru he'd been with right from the start of his career, and he felt in 1998 that he had to move because people would brand him as a Subaru man and he'd never be able to drive for another team. So this car became so competitive, and it was the car to beat. Well done, Peugeot. And of course then they went, and this is Marco Martin's car, a very strange car, being ultimately a convertible turned into a rally car. They felt that the dimensions and the wheelbase was great. Now look at this. Now isn't that when you look at all these beautiful, beautiful cars. And here you've got Tommy Mäkinen's first ever rally car. Fair play to Jiří. He's bought it completely untouched, rusting away. Looks like it's had a few roofs on there. It's well worn. But what a great car to have. And perhaps you can see why this car is tucked right in the corner of the workshop. But yeah, to have Tommy's first ever rally car, it's quite something. And I know he's got a passion for Mitsubishis, and there's a few variations from a couple of Galants here, Rally Art probably Germany to Rally Art Europe, with an official factory car of Kenneth Ericsson's, to Lances. Perhaps this is, I'm not sure if that's the first one, but then going all the way up into the later WRC cars for Tommy. This one's Delacour. And of course, the latest variation of this was the GG Galley car. GG Galley, I have to say, is a man that had so much car control. I mean, he was so naturally talented in what he could do with the car, and really, you know, he was such a spectacle. And it's only wish that we could have people that could drive so spectacularly and not worry necessarily about a result. But GG, fair play to you. You could drive a Mitsubishi, or probably anything you were given. Now, when we go from this car collection, which as you can see is quite vast, we can go down to a Group 4 era, and even earlier, but a Renault Alpine, not seen many of those around at all, a Fiat Abarth. And then this was Fiat's answer to becoming an Escort beater. I always remember this, and this has actually the co-driver seat, the proper position. I remember with this car, once they put it right over the axle, and it was behind the hoop in the back, and the co-driver was literally sat in the back of the car. I don't think that lasted for long, but that was just in an attempt to get some traction. One of the most beautiful Group 4 cars they ever produced, I feel. The Chevette HSR. Nissan were very prominent in the World Championship, and they've come up with the Group B 240 RS. Now, I've done a couple of rallies in one of these, and an Opel Ascona 400. And next to it was the car that took over from the Ascona, the Opel Manta. Something that really does feature a lot now in European rallying is the BMW M3. Nissan did come back into the World Championship. It was Di Llewellyn and Tommy Mäkinen were the team drivers. I think they struggled with overheating issues a lot. So that is one part of his collection. We've got some unusual cars. I know nothing about Alfa Romeos, but famed for tarmac rallying in the UK. This one always looked the meatier of them all. But yeah, Yves Loubet and a few other top drivers use these. He's obviously got a passion for them because he does actually have 4 here. So yeah, a nice addition and a change to normal people's collections. Not just rally cars, there's models of everything. This is just the race cars here, just tucked downstairs, but upstairs is a full collection of rally stuff, which I'll show you a bit later. The whole reason we're here because of Ford, and it's a celebration actually of the Focus, but in true style he's brought all his Fords to the forefront. And this again run by Malcolm when Carlos drove for them with full Repsol sponsorship. This is 1997 San Remo rally, and Malcolm's Michelin Pilot car. I thought that as a car colour scheme is iconic. It really does look good. I'm sure Michelin had some great coverage with Malcolm with that car. Robert Droogman's Group A Sierra Cosworth. FINA sponsorship. FINA were great supporters of Belgium rallying. We've done a lot with these in the past. This is a Mark Lovell RS200. Of course, my friend John Wheeler obviously had a lot to do with these. It's nice to see that. And of course, he's got to have himself a Group 4 Escort. God, look at that. It's got some Michelin PB15s. Gee, you don't see many of those anymore. But let's walk across in front of the stage and let's look at where we are. This particular model is a 2000 Focus. Jiří actually has a 1999 car from us from Rally New Zealand, which is away being repaired in the body shop. He has 7 Focuses in all. Absolutely crazy. And the Martini colours always looked fantastic, didn't they? The 99 car had orange colours, but the 2000 car looked a lot better. When you look inside, it looks pretty original. But the 2000 car was a big step forward from 99. And then later years, we went to 2001 car, which really was then, with the input of Christian Loriot, we really started to go places. But this is a lovely example. And he's also got a Carlos Sainz car from the same year, 2000, from Portugal. And then he's also got another 2000 Focus for us from Corsica, this particular one. I'm not sure. Let's have a look inside. Kind of looks pretty original in here. Oh, actually, it had the electronic joystick gear change, because it went to a hydraulic change operated on a push switch on the gear lever. That little green button there is to select reverse. Not sure the seats are original, but you know, at the end of the day, everything else about it looks pretty good, to be honest. But yeah, 3 2000 Focuses. Next up, we've got the 2003 car. Was it an 05 Focus? This now has more to do with Marco Martin there, chatting to Jiří in the white t-shirt. Yeah, pulled us all together for this event, but this 05 Focus really did start to perform. Also has a 2005 Duval car, again big step forward from Deutschland, and then he's finishing with Marcus Grunham's 2006 Focus, rally winning Focus from Wales Rally GB. Yeah, a fantastic addition, and yeah, it looks really beautiful, that car. And this purpose-built operation, pictures of cars all the way around, beautifully presented, wonderful painted floors. The place is absolutely immaculate. Jiří Jirovec, thank you for pulling all this wonderful rally history together. Brings us all so much pleasure just to see it all.
Into 3 left, plus opens. Into 6 left.